tragic case that shook the University of Georgia, a 22-year-old nursing student, Laken Riley, was murdered, and the man accused has now been found guilty. This heartbreaking story not only grabbed national headlines, but also sparked a fiery debate on immigration during the presidential campaign. Stay with us as we break down every detail of this gripping case. Watch till the end, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Who of the story? This is the story of Laken Riley, a bright and ambitious young woman with a heart full of dreams. Laken started her journey at the University of Georgia, where she studied through the spring semester of 2023. But her passion for nursing led her to transfer to the Augusta University College of Nursing in Athens. Laken graduated from River Ridge High School in Woodstock back in 2020. Timeline of events. It was a quiet Thursday morning, February 22nd, when 22-year-old Laken Riley set out for her usual run on the wooded trails she loved. At 9:03 a.m., she left her home, likely with no idea of the danger that awaited her. By 9:10 a.m., data from her smartwatch showed she was running at her usual fast pace. But then, something went terribly wrong. She suddenly stopped dead in her tracks. At 9:44 a.m., security cameras captured a man, later identified by prosecutors as the suspect, returning to his apartment complex. He was seen throwing something into a recycling bin and then into nearby bushes. Inside the bin, investigators found a dark hooded jacket with Laken's blood and strands of long dark hair on it. Later, at 10:19 a.m., the same man was seen wearing different clothes and walking toward a trash bin with a bag. He returned empty-handed, but unfortunately, that bin was emptied before police could search it. UGA Police Chief Jeff Clark later remarked that this was the first homicide investigation on the UGA campus in over 20 years. Jose Antonio Ibarra was arrested and charged in connection with Laken Riley's tragic death. The tragic story of Laken Riley took center stage during President Joe Biden's State of the Union address. President Joe Biden was interrupted by Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who shouted, "Say her name," referring to Laken Riley. The moment drew gasps and boos. Biden then held up a pin with Riley's name, given to him by Greene, and said, "Laken Riley, an innocent young woman killed by an illegal. To her parents, my heart goes out to you. Having lost children myself, I understand." On Thursday, August 29th, Jose Antonio Ibarra's attorneys filed a motion to suppress key evidence in the case. According to court documents, they argued that 2 cell phones, social media accounts, including Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as genetic, physical, and location data, were obtained through an unlawful search and seizure without probable cause. Then, on Friday, November 8th, a judge denied 3 motions to suppress evidence in Jose Antonio Ibarra's trial, marking a significant win for the prosecution. Judge Patrick Haggard heard arguments from Ibarra's defense team, who challenged key pieces of evidence, including cell phone data, DNA from under Laken Riley's fingernails, and fingerprints on her phone. Defense attorneys argued that the methods used to collect the evidence, including data from Ibarra's phones, were flawed and unlawful. However, prosecutor Sheila Ross countered by presenting testimony from an FBI agent, who explained that the evidence was obtained lawfully through multiple warrants. Despite the defense's efforts, including a request to bar the jury from seeing certain DNA evidence, the judge ruled in favor of the prosecution, allowing the evidence to be used at trial. Body cam footage from officers' discovery of Riley's body. Body cam footage from the UGA officer who found Riley's body in the woods was shown in court. Sergeant Kenneth Maxwell testified about discovering Riley's partially nude remains, visible scratches on Ibarra's arms. UGA officers, Sergeant Joshua Epps and Corporal Raphael Sayan, testified that they noticed scratches on Ibarra's arms when they interviewed him on February 23rd outside his apartment. Epps described the marks as looking like fingernail scratches, while Sayan, who questioned Ibarra in Spanish, stated that Ibarra didn't explain where the scratches came from. Search of Ibarra's apartment. Annie Mormon from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation testified that a set of kitchen gloves, similar to those found in a bush near Ibarra's apartment, were discovered in his home. In addition, 2 tablets and 7 cell phones were seized, though Mormon confirmed no blood evidence was found in the apartment. Ibarra's selfies show clothing. Consistent with suspect FBI agent Jamie Hipkiss, testified that selfies from Ibarra's phone, taken on the day of Riley's killing, showed him wearing clothes similar to those worn by the suspect seen on video footage. This footage showed the suspect discarding a black hat and navy blue jacket, which were later recovered with both Ibarra and Riley's DNA. Riley's smartwatch data reveals her final moments. Digital forensics expert Wesley Durkin testified that Riley's Garmin running watch data revealed a sudden drop in her movement speed at 9:10 a.m. on February 22nd. He also stated that her heart rate dropped to 0 beats per minute at 9:28 a.m., marking the end of her life. Campus safety camera footage. In court, footage from a campus safety camera was shown, captured on the morning of Riley's death. The video revealed a man in dark clothing and a hood lingering near an apartment complex, close to the trail where Riley was later killed, shortly before 7 a.m. The footage then showed Riley running along the trail around 9 a.m., about 30 minutes before the fatal attack. Riley's final text message, UGA Police Sergeant Sophie Raboud, shared the timeline of Riley's final messages and calls on February 22, 2024. At 8:55 a.m., Riley texted her mom saying, "Good morning," and asking if she was free to talk before going for a run. At 9:03 a.m., Riley tried calling her mom, but the call went unanswered. Just minutes later, at 9:11 a.m., Riley made a 911 call, but no one responded, and the dispatcher called her back twice. From 9:24 a.m. to 12:07 p.m., Riley's mom repeatedly tried calling and texting her, but there was no response. At 12:38 p.m., police found Riley's body in a wooded area near the trail. Cause of Riley's death. Dr. Michelle DeMarco, an associate medical examiner with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, testified that Riley died from blunt force head trauma and asphyxia, with the manner of death being a homicide. There were no signs of sexual assault. DNA evidence forensic DNA expert Ashley Hinkle testified that only 2 genetic profiles were found under Riley's fingernails, her own and one matching Ibarra's. Hinkle also stated that DNA from a discarded hooded jacket found near Ibarra's apartment contained DNA from both Ibarra and Riley. Main payoff. Then, finally, on November 20th, Jose Antonio Ibarra was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Superior Court Judge H. Patrick Haggard delivered the verdict, finding Ibarra guilty on all 10 counts related to Riley's death. As the verdict and sentencing were read, Ibarra showed no emotion, listening through a translator. What do you think about this case? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates.